Okay, my name is Joseph Harrison, and I've been working in the agriculture industry for 50 years. Yeah, I'm that old, but I'm starting at Saul High School of Ag Sciences in Roxborough. I'm from Mount Airy, I'm from Philly, and not as a farmer, but I've worked in ag in different points in my career. As a student at Saul, I went to Tuskegee University and majored in agribusiness education. I worked again with Kim Lawn. I was a substitute teacher at Saul, and then I have a master's in extension education, basically teaching ag from Penn State University with a focus on farmers markets and the viability of farmers markets in inner cities. That was my paper was on, and currently I've been with the U.S. Department of Agriculture for 37 years, looking to bail out, and that's what I've been doing most of my life, some capacity of agriculture without farming. So, again, I'm also the author. Most important book written for our people, Little Joey Starts a Farm. Little Joey's from the inner city, wants to eat healthy. However, he goes to the grocery store, he does not have a lot of choices. So his mother basically encourages him to talk to his uncle and start growing his own food. So it's about self-reliance, it's about independence, the child is at the center of the story, and it's about problem solving. So the book is available over here after the lecture, the class, for $20, and I'm here to sign it for you. So I'm going to start the program here. This is going to be a kind of a historical approach and try to encourage folks for the need to grow their own food. We're also going to look at Garvey's principles of Pan-Africanism a little bit and see what he was about, along with Booker T. Washington and other historical figures who were in the nation building. They were building nations. That's what we're going to try to do, build nations, but the foundation should be agriculture. So the lecture is Building Community Through Agriculture Development, and we're going to examine Marcus Garvey's Pan-African vision, okay? So a couple of weeks ago, in October, there was the Black Urban Farmers and Gardeners Convention here. As a short video about the folks who are doing this in Detroit and in Pittsburgh. It's a huge group nationally, so we're not by ourselves. And I'm going to show you a little video of the convention we had here at Temple, and the folks are going to speak about the importance of growing in their area, in their neighborhoods. That's Booker T. Washington, sound's coming.
And so take this conference, bring it back home, and change the world.
Urban agriculture is important because most people on the planet live now in metropolitan areas, either in cities or in the areas around cities. 100 years ago, most people were in rural areas. And so now it makes sense to grow food closer to where we have population density so that we don't have to transport food this far. So it's better for the environment. The nutrient density of the food is higher if it's closer to the point that it's harvested when you consume it. And then also we need to have food in the spaces where we're existing. And many of us are in cities right now. So those are some of the reasons urban ag is important.
But rice, in its heyday, could make you a millionaire planter in 2 crops. And that came not from Liverpool or Bristol or Dublin. And in Bourbon and these places. But no rice there. Except an Indian restaurant underneath a pile of chicken masala. It's the countries we come from. My cousins in the audience and I come from. And we have to stress this story to our children. Yeah. You know, these were not We came here empty-handed, but not empty-headed.
So who do we have here?
My name is Alicia Howard, and I'm from Portland, Oregon. I work for EcoTrust. I am the community outreach coordinator, but I just finished up my fellowship. I was the pharmacy school fellow. I am born and raised from Portland. I'm also on the board of the Black Sovereignty Coalition. I also have a composting practice called People's Worms that's located at Black People's Farm in Southeast Portland.
Okay, now why is it important to grow for Black folks to grow food? Tell me why and why.
Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to eat. It's important for us to grow food so that we can be connected to the land, so that we can figure out all of the possible modalities of healing that are available to us.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm the CEO and founder of the Sankofa Community Garden and Farms.
Now, how important is growing food in the inner cities to you? Why is that important?
Oh, it's extremely important. The neighborhood where I grow food at has not had a grocery store in 40 years. My question was, what is it Black people don't eat? And then when we started doing the research and looked up at the retail grocery stores that were in our community, we found that all the almost expired food came to those stores that served our community. So we decided with our produce that we wanted to grow our own food. And in 2014, I went to Cuba and saw community gardens that were feeding the whole province, and I came back and decided that's exactly what we needed to do as Black people. And as being a Black Panther, we always had community gardens. So it was an easy startup for me.
All Philippine Park. That's grow bags. Back to my house. That's in Pleasant Playground in Mount Airy. Sister wrote great book. All right. So now you're inspired. Now you see the reason why you got it. Thank you. Thank you. Reason why we got it. We need to grow our own food. And so we're going to look at Marcus, again, Pan-African vision of Marcus Garvey's vision, which he got through his travels. And Marcus said, the Negro will have to build his own industry, art, sciences, literature, and culture before the world will stop to consider him. Okay? So you want to be in an industry. So the industry is agriculture. It's the largest in the world. So we'll talk about that a little later. But Marcus Garvey stressed being part of an industry over 100 years ago. So here's a little video. I was a substitute teacher, so when you work with the kids, you got to throw a video in there. Now, if you have any questions, please ask. It's kind of interactive. If you have any questions. So if you never heard of Marcus Garvey, knew what he did, here's a little short one. I like videos. Marcus Garvey.
Over 100 years ago, the Black nationalist movement in America reached an unprecedented level of popularity because of the efforts of the charismatic leader of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, Marcus Garvey. Born in Jamaica, Garvey grew up in poverty. He came to understand race relations through the lens of British colonialism throughout the Caribbean and Latin America. As his thinking matured, he began to formulate a revolutionary social movement. In 1914, he founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, dedicated to uniting all the Black people throughout the world. 2 years later, he immigrated to the United States, where his powerful message quickly gained traction.
We want to unite the liberation of this country. We want every people to work for one common object, that of building a nation of his own on the great continent of Africa, for the purpose of separating our industrial, commercial, educational, social, and political conditions.
he arrives in an era where blacks are still being lynched regularly in the South, around the same time that movies like Birth of the Nation are showing extraordinarily racist depictions of African Americans as monsters.
You have this really charismatic and dynamic individual, and he's talking about, look, our place is never going to be here in the United States, it's never going to be in Europe, it's going to be in Africa, we need to reclaim Africa.
So Garvey is going to be preaching a philosophy of black pride. He's going to come up with a scheme to repatriate to Africa, and he provides a huge sense of hope for millions of African Americans. A centerpiece of Garvey's program was the creation of the Black Star Line, a steamship line launched to transport African Americans who wished to emigrate to Africa. The Black Star Line is this idea that Garvey can buy ships through the support of local African American people, sending in money so you can have a share in the Black Star Line. And these ships were going to take thousands of people back to Africa, to the colony that Garvey was going to establish. But his advocacy for black Americans to move back to Africa drew the attention of the United States government, and especially J. Edgar Hoover's Federal Bureau of Investigation, which monitored Garvey's movement, seeking grounds for his arrest and deportation. Garvey was growing too powerful. J. Edgar Hoover is going to hire their first Negro agents to subvert Marcus Garvey. And eventually, they're going to say that he's been committing mail fraud with the Black Star Line scheme. He's eventually tried, arrested, placed in jail in 1925. He's deported in 1927, and he's never allowed to return to the United States. He dies in London in 1940. Garvey's legacy as the father of the modern Back to Africa movement cannot be underestimated. He created the largest popular political movement in the history of Black America, and would be an inspiration both to the anti-colonial movement and Black nationalist leaders throughout the remainder of the century.
So the concept is for us to come together around an industry. Industry would be agriculture. It's basically the foundation. And it's not too difficult. So what is agriculture? Agriculture is the foundation for all economies and a building block for African nationhood. So it's something that we all really should be in if we want some type of freedom and independence. I did this at church, so the Lord will send a blessing on your barns and on everything you put your hand to. The Lord your God will bless you in the land. So if you do the work, it's like life. If you do the work, it's going to grow. You can't fake your way out of growing your own food. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't know what happened. Yeah, you know what happened. You didn't put any fertilizer down and you didn't water it, so it died. You know, you can't BS it. You know what I mean? You can't fake it. It'll show. Yeah, you can't. And things will happen. But it's going to show. So, what is the meaning of agriculture? It's the science and art of cultivating plants and livestock. Okay, that's what agriculture is. Why is it important? Agriculture is the largest industry in the world. Why do you think it's the largest industry in the world? You guys, did you take this class before? Everybody got to eat. Everybody has to eat. Whether you're China, whether you're North Africa, everybody has to eat. So everybody grows their food. And I just came back. I was blessed to go to the Gambia. And it was really neat that everyone, they might not be able to read or write, English or French. They knew their language, but everybody knew how to grow food. Everybody knew how to grow carrots. They understood the rainy season. When you start to plant during the rainy season, everybody had the skills. You know why they had the skills? Because there was no bodega, the grocery stores in the village. You know, so it's no poppy stores. You're in a village. You might not be running water. So, probably isn't running water. Why was that? Now, but sure. So everybody had to have these skills. And it was pretty neat. It was like a God-given hydroponic system. I'll go over that at the next lecture. And it's the basis of all economies. So if we want some sovereignty, we have to create our own economy. Okay, this is what we're going to have to do, and it's great to do it globally. Agriculture is fundamental to African liberation because the strong nation must be able to do what? Strong nation? I got the answer here. You got to feed yourself. That's the foundation. You got to be able to feed yourself. At least start thinking in that direction. You know what I mean? How can I feed myself? Wait for somebody to come give it to you. There was the Dunkin' Donuts, where all this, it's industry. Somebody bought the sugar, somebody made it, somebody shipped it to the store, somebody went and bought it. Somebody did it. It didn't just show up here. There's money behind this. Okay, why is it important today? So in the direct response to COVID, I was on a call with the Pennsylvania Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding, and so there was increased demand for locally grown food. Why? Because, again, I work in the industry. The truckers got sick. Can everybody see? The truckers got sick. The pickers got sick. My dear partner in my office, he got sick of COVID and died. So you think if you getting letters from California, and the guy got COVID, and he's driving, he got to make a stop in Chicago, he may have to make a stop in Pittsburgh, and come to make a stop in Philly. Do you want this guy riding around with COVID spreading it across the country? But that was real. If you want a lettuce to be here at your house, it was grown in California, how was it going to get here? Magic? No, you had to, somebody had to drive it. So that's why it's very important to start to grow your own food, because another pandemic can happen. I'm not making it up. We just went through it. So they talked about victory gardens. Now with new technology, you can really grow any place, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Anywhere you can grow. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can put it in trash bags if you don't have any ground, or you can just dig up your front lawn and put a seed in and take care of it. You don't have to. It can be from $0 to whatever you want to spend. So he encouraged folks to start to grow their own food, because if you'd like to eat for another 100 years, then it needs to be part of the culture. You know what I mean? So again, just left the Gambia. It's a part of the culture. The cab driver was an expert. I got to do a report for USDA, and the cab driver, he lived in a village. He's telling me I'm writing notes down. He's the cab driver. He probably was very knowledgeable. So we need to it would be great that's why it's good to be at school, to get some of this knowledge back to our kids. Any questions?
When are you teaching the next class, gardening class?
All right, I'm trying to make it easy. When I get done, hopefully, you'll be on your own. No, it'll be next week. Actually, next week at church. Next Sunday, I'm going to go over stuff next Sunday. So here's some of my heroes in nation building. I'm a Tuskegean, so I got to talk about Booker T. Washington. So again, he said, the world cares very little what a man or woman knows. It is what a man or woman is able to do that counts. The old song, talk is cheap, your words are weak. You know what I mean? You got to produce. So that's what this is about. Now, what did he do? He was a wizard of Tuskegee. He founded Tuskegee University in 1881. Founded the National Negro Business League in 1900, a national network of black businesses across the country. He believed that African people should focus on education and the crafts and industrial skills. Tuskegee students made the bricks that built the buildings on campus. So if you want to have a house, you think about slavery was ended 1863. So you need some real life skills. You need to build a house physically with yourself. So they made the bricks out of the clay. And they all had a saying at Tuskegee, leave your underwear at home. Because leave your underwear at home, you're like finding your face up. Leave your underwear at home, because when you got to Tuskegee, you're going to make your own. Make your own underwear. So it's about independence. And he talked about the cultivation of patience, enterprise, and thrift. Not just smoking up the money, overspending, you know. You just kind of just be thrifty. My family calls me cheap, but I like to say I'm thrifty. Talking about developing industrial and farming skills to attain economic security. Actually, Garvey got a lot of his concepts from Booker T. Washington. He actually visited Tuskegee to meet him, but you know, there's no internet, and Booker T. Washington had passed. He came like a year or two later, but he wanted to found a school. That's what he wanted. He wanted to build a nation after the Tuskegee model. And all things that are purely social, again, this is kind of his theory, and all things that are purely social, we can be separate as the fingers, yet one as the hand, and all things essential to mutual progress. That means he was not really an integrationist. He wanted to be separate. These are theories. Don't get panicky, but he thought should be separate. But now for mutual benefit, we can do business. But it was integration. It didn't work out during the slavery days. You know what I mean? We were always together, but one was on top, one was on the bottom. So the concept was just, let's just kind of separate and do our own thing. But we can come together for business. He had to. He built a school in Alabama, 1881. It wasn't heaven. You weren't, like, oh, welcome. It wasn't like a happy place. But so we had to survive. You know what I mean? So let's just take it easy. We can do our own thing here. All right, so here's another hero of ours, the greatest mind of the last century, one of the greatest agricultural minds in the world, Booker T. Washington. 99% of the failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. Now, what did he do? He invented numerous products from sweet potatoes, including edible products like flour and vinegar, non-food items such as stains, dyes, paints, and writing ink. Now, when you're building an industry, that's the whole part about an industry. You're building something, then you're growing peanuts. What can you get out of peanuts? Yeah. Everything. You get stuff from out of peanuts. Now you're building an industry. Now you got the peanuts that have fertilizer in the ground, that has nitrogen in the ground. Now you got the peanut butter. You got the peanut oil to cook with. Now you're building an industry. Now and then you can sell it to each other, to yourselves. Now that's the concept of building an industry. That kind of was the vision back then. So that's called value-added product. It's not just the peanut, the raw peanut in the ground. You can boil the peanuts. Those are very good, But that now you're talking about building an industry, building some type of foundation. Need to develop more than 300 food, industrial, commercial products from peanuts. Now here's another hero of mine, Amilcar Cabral. Folks may not be familiar with him. He was from, I got my DNA tested and found out we're from the same tribe, the Balanta people from Guinea-Bissau. So Amilcar was a revolutionary leader in Guinea-Bissau, but he also studied agriculture. Who knew? I didn't know. So he said, you understand that we are struggling first and foremost for our own peoples. That is our task in this front of struggle. He was fighting the Portuguese. It was like their Vietnam. This was like in the 70s. He fought the Portuguese. But they're fighting for our people. And he was did land, studied land throughout the country. That's how we got everybody organized. He was an agronomist. So Amilcar was a nationalist and Pan-Africanist revolutionary, agronomist, nationalist leader, and founder, secretary of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde. He was a Pan-Africanist who stood in solidarity with struggles of African Americans for civil and political rights. And he said that he went to blacks in the United States after seeing what was going on in LA. So he was very supportive. And back then, it's something that we don't learn in school. I didn't know. But it was a lot of symbiotic relationships between revolutionaries there at the time in the 70s and what was going on there in Guinea-Bissau. And actually, it was a movie that was undercover. On a side note, remember Ted Lang from The Love Boat? it's this movie he created, and they mentioned that war, that struggle in Guinea-Bissau, how they just talked about it, but it was like undercover jazz movie that you can't find unless you go to the UCLA film archives. But Ted Lang made this movie, and they mentioned the war in Guinea-Bissau there. So it was a thing. So I like to have a global perspective with this, so we can see that we're all connected. And again, that's part of Garvey's view, Pan-African view, and Booker T's, to come together and create our own industry based on the foundation of agriculture. All right, agriculture. Building strong people and communities. Why we want to do this? Freedom from dependence on others for food. That was kind of what you want, right? Economic independence through commercial agriculture, so you can kind of develop some type of business. Education, write a book, selling products, grow tomatoes, trade with your community. The quality can be better, more nutritious, and enhance health, because if you're growing in soil and it's healthy, you're going to be healthy. That's the foundation. It's similar to a home. Comes to a strong community, strong family. Generally, you'll be strong. They got a lot of outside influences that can throw you off, but you have to fight. We all have to fight through all that. Okay? Now, tools for getting started. You can get educated. So every county in the United States has an extension office. We're blessed in the United States because agriculture is very, very important to the development of the nation. So every county has an extension office. Philadelphia, whether you're in New York or Pittsburgh, and it's through the land grant system, through Penn State. Also, now, online, you can learn all kinds of stuff online. I went to an HBCU. For the young people who want to go to college, you can go to Tuskegee or Delaware State, Virginia State, Maryland Eastern Shore, Florida A&M, or Penn State, or Rutgers. All states have agriculture schools. And they give you money for that. So you can start your own education. You can work in community, support community agriculture projects like little farmers markets. You can be involved in that. You can volunteer. You can buy food from there. You can organize your own local farmers market. You can develop neighborhood agriculture clubs. So I grew up in Mount Airy, row houses, and everybody did a little something. So just because you're in a row house in the inner city, there might be 1,000 people on a block. 1,000 homes, or it doesn't matter how big the block is, or maybe 400 homes or 200 homes on a block. But if everybody had, to show you, and it's concrete, this grow bag, if everybody had 10 grow bags in front of the house, now this is far-fetched, with tomato plants, you have a lot of tomatoes. You have a lot of tomatoes. So if everybody kind of came together, one could do cucumbers, one could do tomatoes, one could do greens. So just changing the mindset. But you don't need no ground. This is the grow bag. And the lady puts dollar store plates underneath there, and put the water back in, put the soil in, put the plant in, water it. You got your farm started. Organize and participate in commercial agricultural production. Like I just said, add value products, creating peanut butter, purchase or obtain land for agriculture, come as a group, get a lot, get a farm, get your church to come together. You can do it, but you have to be, the concept is working together. You can't do it as an individual, but collectively, you might be able to get 100 acres, or you might be able to get applied as a group, Learn how to sell your products and develop marketing strategies. Develop trading networks and distribution channels. So again, building community, building in an industry, okay? That's the vision. Information, okay, now this is information for the better decision making. So I work with the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I'm a market news reporter, and I report on the price of fruits and vegetables. So this is a global market. You know, people trade all over the world. Just most asparagus comes from someplace else, Mexico or Peru. So what happened? So what's going on with this war in Ukraine? Okay, how's that affecting you? Well, Ukraine produces a lot of the urea for the fertilizer for the world. Africa, South America. Well, the war's going on right now, so ain't that much fertilizer around. So the food price, so things went up. So again, we're in a global economy right now. It's global. A lot of stuff is imported here, so it's important to be independent. So again, this is what I do for a living. Of course, we have another. Yes, ma'am.
Is there an alternative to fertilizer?
Yeah, compost. Here's another one I just actually was at a workshop. Urine. Yes, that's NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. And you can use that.
You say urine?
Urine.
Well, how do you make compost?
Compost is just you mix it up with like banana peels and green vegetables and leaves and like fruits and like apple cores, and you add the worms, and it will add water. You need to add the worms in my compost bin at home, and add moisture, and it mysteriously it makes its own fertilizer. Now the urine, yes, you can heat it or treat it.
Is it human or
Human. You can store it. I've read 6 months. I'm not the expert on that, but yes, you can use urine. Eggshells, yeah, compost, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Another good fertilizer is fish emulsion.
Yeah, fish.
As well as seed fertilizer, both is purchased from Home Depot.
Yes, you're right. Yes. And that's what they use in Africa. And in the Gambia is on the coast. They use a lot of fish. They're cutting the fish up. They use 5 fish bones, ground that up, and mix that with the soil. That's what they use over there. So this is an example, showed a global perspective. This is the industry that I support, so you'll get a bird's eye view of a larger industry and how it's connected, and they're talking about information. So, yes, ma'am.
So I understand you were saying like the fertilizer and stuff comes from Ukraine, and I guess each region produces different things. How do they determine the price of like the food per pound?
Supply and demand.
Okay. So if it's like $3.99 for tomatoes, that means the supply is high, and the supply is low, and the demand is high.
Yeah. So demand for tomatoes, there's going to be a demand for tomatoes. So who in here has? I can answer either question. Who's ever heard of hoagies? All right, you've heard. Okay. What do you put on? You put I guarantee you somebody this week had a hoagie, right? Did anybody have a hoagie this week? All right. Well, so tomatoes are going to be on a hoagie. That's a demand. We're in Philly. Yeah, tomatoes are going to be on a hoagie. Whether you want it to be, that's what's going to be on it. So there's a demand already built into the system. Okay. So there's going to be a demand. Now, they had some bad weather in Florida earlier. So it's still cool out. So we're not really growing tomatoes here. And we'll talk about later the hydroponics we can grow inside. But that's still difficult with tomatoes because you need a lot of light. But there's a little tomatoes are high. They had bad weather. And that's why watermelons are high. They had bad weather in Florida. So that's the kind of work that I do for a living, to track the prices of fruits and vegetables and have an understanding in the background why things are high and why things are not high. Yes, dear.
So is that the reason why they make it like watermelon seedless, because the real ones are not available?
No, they're making watermelon seedless because that's what Americans want. They don't want the seeds.
But that you can't regrow that.
No. So there you go. Now you want some independence, go get some seeded watermelons and grow your own. Yeah. So at the mark, yes, sir.
American people were made to want seedless fruit because you can control the market with the seedless fruit, and you destroy the market. People learn that they can use those seeds and grow their own stuff. So
That is very, 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 very real. That's another case for independence and sovereignty. So again, to his point, the Lord made it so food is really supposed to be free. It's supposed to be free. So if you got seeds, my mother-in-law told me down in Virginia, now my mother-in-law is under 77, down that they came around and told her father not to save his seeds. So say, and I think in East Africa, they're trying to sell the seeds. Like you said, they don't produce every year. Now we're here, everybody got a couple bucks in their pocket, right? We're in America, we're blessed because we can work, we're here and we can make a couple bucks. But if you're in a place where you don't make dollars, you may make the lassie or whatever, you're not in a part of an economy and you need some seeds, you got to go buy the seeds. So they're trying to his point, they don't want you. They want you to buy the seeds. Yeah, they want you to buy the seeds. That's the reason for independence. That's why so they want to control your food. Oh, that's real. And there's a sister out of India. Is a big, I forgot the woman's name, but that can be another one, all on the seed. They kind of control everything. Again, I know now y'all fired up. Y'all can go get some organic seeds, start growing your own food. That's the point. That's very real. You know, but how you gonna make money how you gonna make money every year if you can't sell the seed, if you got your own seed? They can't make no money, but you saving money. It's a racket. All right, so I'm gonna give you another film. This thing, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, a little long, of what I do for a living. And so you get an idea of a global picture. Can y'all hear?
USDA market highs and years of
As a market.
People involved in the industry definitely and having that unbiased party explain what the true value is on various commodities.
We rely on market news because of their credibility.
We get the tax and then let every.
Nothing happened. Had a bad break, setback.
USDA market news is the highs and years of the industry.
We provide transparency as a market.
People involved in the industry definitely see the benefit in having that unbiased party explain what the true value is on various commodities.
We rely on market news because of their credibility.
We just need to have the facts and then let everyone else apply it to the market in the way they trade.
The reports we get from you are vital. The economic livelihood of a lot of people depends on the reports that we get.
Market information is a great tool for farmers, importers, wholesalers.
We got reporters in New York, Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, so we can assess market conditions, supply and demand.
Yeah, we're going to do the job without market news. They keep us informed.
The story actually begins in 1915. The first reports were issued for strawberries from Hammond, Louisiana. With the development of refrigerated rail cars to move product, people in that business discovered that, well, they didn't have any information from that other end. You know, what were the prices like? Did I select the right market for my products? And was I treated fairly? So industry leaders came to Congress and said, hey, we need someone capturing this data so that we can be better informed.
As the saying goes, the rest is history. For 100 years, USDA Market News has helped U.S. agriculture thrive with daily reports on produce, grain, cotton, dairy, and livestock sales. Operated by the Agricultural Marketing Service, an agency of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, market news reports are invaluable to producers, marketers, and consumers.
Market news keeps it changing. We try to stay abreast of modern technology and what our contacts need from us.
Any other changes?
At this Pennsylvania livestock auction, USDA market reporters are taking notes and sharing information. Their hallmark is timeliness and accuracy.
We have reporters that are highly trained to subjectively evaluate livestock. We're able to group out price segments based on the quality. We take that information, we try to get it out as fast as we can after the sale is completed, and it's disseminated over the internet, but also to many publications that pick up that information.
The mission is the same at wholesale markets around the country.
We are at the Philadelphia Wholesale Produce Market. My name is Joseph Harrison, and I am the USDA's market news reporter, recording the prices and shipments of all the produce from the market.
Joe Harrison from Market News comes to the market every day, relentlessly pursues the truth of the produce industry. It helps us see what the markets are across the country, and it gives us a starting point as far as buying.
We'll get the prices, report them, and they'll be disseminated throughout the world through the internet.
Market news is very valuable. We look at it every day, and our customers look at it. It's a necessary part of our business.
Market news helps me make sure that I'm purchasing my product at the right price.
USDA Market News is also a critical tool for traders of agricultural commodities.
The reports are really important to us because they represent, unlike a lot of market analysts who may have a bias, they represent what we see as the truly third-party objective numbers that market participants can use.
It's absolutely a critical part of what we do. Our execution really is predicated on business coming in from all over the world. So we're always watching every report that comes out.
USDA Market News is active around the globe, helping other nations develop their own reporting systems.
We do help nations develop their systems because we feel that they need this help, and it also helps our agricultural sector to know what's happening in those countries.
You're extremely vital to us, and you give us the guidelines in terms of the pricing. We get the market news. The areas of production in Guatemala, they're not large farms or smaller farms, so we depend on getting the best price possible for our products.
In a century of service, USDA Market News has continued to change with technology and the needs of the industry. From the teletypes of yesteryear to the touchscreens of today, the mission is the same: timely, reliable, unbiased information.
I'm a people person, so I want to look you in the eye and I like to talk to the people, I feel the pulse of the market.
Obviously, for 100 years, they've been doing this service, and if they weren't accurate, I don't think that they would still be here.
We'd like to congratulate you on your anniversary. We think it's a phenomenal thing. Certainly USDA has been a major player in helping the producer understand what's going on in the marketplace.
Okay, now a little history, market news history. You see the other older black guy? So this is the 100-year anniversary, right? 100-year anniversary of market news. It was 1915, it's an older video. So who do you think was the first black market news reporter? No, the brother, the older guy. No, not me. Is the older black guy in there? It was another old black guy in there. I think, yeah, you're out. Yeah, I had something for you, but not anymore. There was another older black guy at the end. He said, I'm a people person. Yeah, so started in 1915. I think he started in the 70s. So after affirmative action and all that, so the case for that. And it's not a hard job. But it's a good job. But he's the first black market news reporter in the country to doing fruits and vegetables. And guess who's the second? Yeah, I'm the second. I'm like the Larry Dobley of marketing news. Thank you. I applied at the right time I got in, but I do love the industry. I love what I do, and I love working with the USDA. So now we're going to talk about a few some new technology. that's going on in urban agriculture. And then they're going to show, Levi, I'm going to talk a little bit more about hydroponics, but I have a few systems so I can just share that with you. This is the Aero Garden Plus. You get 24 sections in to grow food. I have one at the house. All the stuff I have at the house. It's very, very easy. It's a hydroponic system with lights. And we can talk about it later afterward. You plug it in, put the water in, put the seed pot in, put the fertilizer in, and call it a day. And it will grow in your basement. Great for schools, for education. You can start seeds in it as well. I'm doing a whole lot of seed starter at my church, Canaan Baptist Church. And I just had salad off it last night. I have a small one. They have small ones, but this is the farm. But it comes with the lights. You don't have to do anything, but add water when the water goes down. It'll tell you that. And add fertilizer. The light will come on. You need fertilizer. Every 14 days, put the fertilizer in. This is the easiest thing. You ain't do nothing. Now, yeah, it's nothing. I'll just show you this, but it's very easy. I have one. I got one the big one at church, and I have a smaller one at the house.
Is it just for leafy?
Better for leafy greens. You can start anything. You can start anything but herbs and greens. And the smaller herbs and greens. Okay, so I have this. It's easy. This is the easiest way. Okay, it's 20 minutes. I mean, not 20. I got 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I got my watch on. Okay. Now here's the Garden Tower 2. I also have this at home. If you see in the beginning of the video with the greens, growing it in my backyard. 50 plants are on here. As your compost, self-contained. It's technically organic because it's going to be in soil, and it makes its own fertilizer. This is, I love this. In 4 feet, you got 50 plants. You can put your marigolds, your tomato plants, you put your collard greens on the side. You got to water it, and you put the sides as well. That's the challenge. But you got 50 plants and 50 plants in a small area. So you add your organic waste, and I did good results out of it. And if you're in a city, you can turn it toward the sun.
Yeah, how often do you have to turn it?
It all depends, maybe the other day. It all depends how much sun you get.
All that can grow on one tower. 50 plants in one tower. And it's easy to water?
Yeah. Water from the top. And you need a hose on the side. You got to do that because it'll dry out. I learned that. And you add your worms. Worms to eat the compost, to create the compost.
Oh, you buy worms to put in there?
Mm-hmm. And they'll reproduce.
Yeah. I always got excited when I got my long worms. That means the soil is good.
Mm-hmm. So you water from the top, and then it goes down, and then the nutrients are in the tray at the bottom, and you can re-add the soil to the top. So it saves water. And this is sustainable. Okay, I'm coming. We got 10:30. Give me 5 minutes. That's it, I'm good. more information over there after this, and we can talk about it. Okay. So here's another one. Cotter cups. If you have a raised bed, put the irrigation system for the house. So people have community gardens, and you just can water once a week. I can show you this. It works very well. But you got to have water. You need three things to grow food. You need the seed, you need the water, you need the sun, and you need good soil. Okay? So this is a real easy way to water your food. You can go on vacation, fill up once a week.
Introducing Thirstier's self-watering system for your garden that not only saves you time and money, it can help increase your harvest. This revolutionary watering system combines ancient technology with modern tech.
Here it is.
60% less water, which saves you cash on your water bill every month. Better yet, it's set and forget, so you don't need to have your vacation short because you gotta water your garden. Plus, there's no more over or underwater, no more struggling plants in the heat of summer, or leaf rot from overwatering. The Thirstier's watering system is engineered to give your plants exactly the amount of water they need, and no more. How does Thirstier help increase your harvest and save you water? By using ancient Oya technology and combining it with your modern watering system. All you do is bury your cotter cups in the soil, and your plant's roots will call for the water it needs. The porous terracotta lets water seep through it, slowly watering your plant's roots. Your plants get water when it needs, where it needs, at the roots. Which means plants get 100% of the water they need, with 60% less water lost to evaporation than traditional drip lines waste. And if you're currently hand watering, you'll save 80% or more by switching to Thirstier. Thirstier is superior to other watering systems because it gives you extremely low water usage and ultra healthy plants at the same time. And the installation is super simple. Thirstier works with your existing drip line, rain catchment, gravity-fed, or sprinkler system, or your hose. Just bury your cups where your plants need them, hook up your water transmission line to a hose, existing drip line, gravity-fed, or sprinkler system, and you're all set. Your Thirstier watering system will fill the cotter cups as needed automatically. And the cotter cups will make sure your plants are forever watered, healthy, and happy. Stock is limited. Order your Thirstier watering system now.
All right, so every student of political science, every student of political economy, every student of economics knows that the race can only be saved through a solid industrial foundation, and the race can only be saved through political independence. Okay? Take away industry from a race, take away political freedom from a race, and you know what you have without independence. So anyway, that concludes my presentation. Thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Black Farm. Thank you, Dr. Simmons. And if you have any questions, I'll be over here.
And we have to my left is Ms. Shirlene Hayes. She is one of our founding members and also the treasurer. And we have Ms. Safira Myra here, Black Farmers Co-op member. And we have Dr. Carol Simmons, who is our director and one of our founding members. And Pastor Darian Thomas, who is our president and founding member. And we have Ms. Manira, is it Harris? Yes. Ms. Manira Harris, one of our Black Farmers Co-op members. Yes. Mr. Joe Harrison, one of the Black Farmers Co-op members. Mr. Mark Gerald, Black Farmers Co-op members. And we have Dr. Jamie Green with Think and Grow Farms, and also Mark Green. Where's Mark? With Think and Grow Farms. They are hosting this event along with the Black Farmers Co-op today, and Dr. Hughes from Cheney University.